Doron Spielman joins us now, former IDF spokesperson, and he joins us on Zoom. Welcome, Doron.
Nice to see you, Brian.
Well, first off, let me ask you how you feel about the talks going on through the Turkish foreign minister, as well as I think Pakistan's playing a role. Your thoughts about this?
You know, I wouldn't put a whole lot of stock in it. If we just remember, it was just last week that Pakistan said that if the United States attacks them, they will drop a nuclear weapon on India. I mean, it's the same. The leopard doesn't change its spots. I don't think that Pakistan or Turkey, both of which support terror, are really much about it. I think that President Trump is hedging his bets. If there's a miracle and Iran agrees somehow to degrade all the uranium and stop the nuclear program, he wins. If not, it buys him precious time to move American troops into the Middle East to do what he needs to do to really finish this once and for all.
How true is it, the reports that people are moving through the strait who pay Iran $2 million?
That's correct. They're being blackmailed. China is the first one to do it. He offered it to China, Pakistan, and India. And they are. It's amazing. They're being blackmailed by the largest terrorist state in the world. Iran thinks it's going to survive by blackmailing the world because of oil prices. I think they're underestimating most of the world. Maybe China is willing to do this. It's not a tenable solution. And it's against international law. You're not allowed to restrict a waterway from international shipping that's international territory. And it's not going to last. These are the last gasps of a dying regime, Brian. We have to understand it's just been 3.5 weeks. This regime is on its last legs. If you pick up the phone and want to call Iran, you don't even know who's going to answer at this point.
In terms of their leadership.
Absolutely. It switches. It's like a roulette wheel. You spin it. Each time it lands on a different number and then he's eliminated. We know from intelligence, there's absolute discommunication that's happening between the leadership and the people in the field. And I can tell you in Israel, while we have ballistic missiles that they're firing, of course,
right now,
only at civilians, they're down from 60 a day to 8 a day. They're disintegrating.
So are you convinced that they're not able to manufacture more drones and missiles right now?
Correct. Right now, if we continue what we're doing, their manufacturing facilities have been destroyed. Not only that, their launchers, about 80% of the launchers are destroyed. So they're down. They have no manufacturing. They don't have raw materials. They don't have these ships coming in from China right now to bring them the raw materials. And they don't have the manufacturing facilities. So if we keep pushing, they are going to run out of ballistic missiles. And, they've been firing them at everyone that they can fire them. They've been firing them at Israel. Okay, they've always said they're going to fire at Israel. They've always said they're going to shoot America, but now they fired at, another 9 Arab states, all of whom were trying to court peace with them. And they're running out of ammunition. Their leadership is on the run. And I think that we're far enough along the way, we can see this through. We have to take a deep breath. People, they're used to fast food, Brian. They think it's going to be fast food war. It's going to take some time. They've had 40 years to grow. But a little bit longer, a few weeks more, we're going to see cracks that are going to bring down this regime.
Do you think they've been more resilient than you thought or lasting longer than you thought? I mean, there were some reports over the weekend that the Mossad thought the regime would fall quicker.
There's been a lot of conflicting reports, and obviously there was a hope that was out there that maybe, even though it was a long shot, when you eliminate Khamenei, when you eliminate Larijani, maybe they'll just give up. But they haven't given up, and it's not a surprise. Again, these people have had 40 years not just to build a terror regime. We have to understand. They have spread the tentacles amongst thousands of people that have gotten enormously rich, that have phenomenal lifestyles, that have homes around the world while the people of Iran suffer. And they're not going to be that quick to give this up, especially if they think that the West might try to force President Trump to back down. As soon as they realize, and this is just how it goes in the Middle East, that President Trump and Israel are going to see this through, we're going to see that they are going to change sides and that they're going to realize they have no choice. They better put their chips in with the United States.
So, there's 2 ships, USS Tripoli and the Boxer, heading our direction. So the Marines are coming. So the president says, we're going to talk. 4 more days are left in order to open up the Strait of Hormuz, or you're going to lose all your energy ability to create energy. Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg said this about what we should do. Cut 6.
The president should press his advantage. And I really believe that we have an opportunity to really take down a regime that just survives on hate. And they hate America, they hate Israel, they hate their own people, and we should get rid of a theocratic regime that leads that government. If he does that, it's the perfect triumph for him, because now we have an organization, a government, that is going to basically get along with everybody else in the Gulf. They clearly don't do that right now.
Their greatest leverage is not their military pain, and no offense to the amount of rockets that are coming your direction and drones, but it's the economic pain. So to get that straight open would relieve a lot of pressure on Israel and the U.S. Don't you agree? And is there a military plan that you have seen that you think would be effective to do that?
First of all, there is. If we look at the strait, we have to understand the strait is about 40 to 60 miles wide, and the shipping lanes are around 2 miles wide. Why are they so narrow? Because there's a few key small islands in that strait that the ships have to go around. And traditionally, they were held by the regime, and from there, they targeted ships, taking over those key islands. The most important of which is Karj to the north, would open up that canal and enable these ships to sail more towards the middle of the canal, keeps them safe from cover from the ground, and would change this. And we have to understand, Brian, people keep saying oil prices are going up, and they are going up. Can we imagine what would happen if Iran had a nuclear weapon? What kind of threat they would put on the world economy? We're not talking $120 a barrel of oil. We're talking $500 a barrel of oil for much of the world. And so there are plans. They have to do with the Marines. They have to be done on the ground, and you have to take specific strategic locations, which these Marine forces are trained to do. And I think that President Trump is playing this very well. He understands the Middle East. You don't negotiate in the Middle East while your guys are leaving. You negotiate in the Middle East while your guys are coming in, and you're putting pressure on people. And I think it's a very smart move. It's a win-win in any case for him and the American people.
How real is this? MBS has called the president, and just came across and said, finish this job. Historic time to change the Middle East. Your thoughts about Saudi Arabia's stance? And I'll add this. ISW is reporting, the Institute for Study of War, that two specified sources told Israel media that Iran has decided to limit its attacks on Saudi Arabia due to concerns that the continued strikes will trigger a direct Saudi military response. Your thoughts about both those things?
First of all, I don't think that Iran is concerned about a Saudi military response. Israel and the United States have launched a military campaign, the likes of which have not been seen on Earth in many, many years from a precision perspective. I don't think that that's what's concerning them. I think that they're looking for the next day and they're saying, wait a second, we're going to lose and we alienated all of our friends. We may have somebody in the Middle East that's going to be friends. How are we going to be friends with them? We'll stop attacking them. But I think the Saudis, the Saudis have always played both sides of the field, Brian. They've always courted China, courted the United States. They haven't attacked Iran. And I think they're actually in a position, this is what I think is going to happen. As we continue to succeed, Saudi Arabia is going to join the fight at the end, just so they can throw a few missiles and say that they were the good guys. That is what's going to happen. Iran's not afraid of that. What Iran is afraid of is that they're going to be completely ostracized and have no one to turn to.
Doron, I know you got to be ready for all scenarios, but why do you think the Houthis have stayed out of it? And do you believe they're going to get into it once interceptor stocks are down?
I don't know for sure if they're going to get involved. The reason that they have not gotten involved is they realize that their major supporter, their patron, is going down the tubes. And just like with all these proxies are nothing on their own, Brian. These proxies were always, whether it's Hezbollah, Hamas, or the Houthis, they were offshoots of Iran. And if they see Iran going down, they're not going to risk their very existence to try to save a regime that's sinking. As a matter of fact, it's the most positive sign that shows that we are winning against Iran. You have a large proxy who's been an enemy who stayed completely silent. And the more we continue this campaign against Iran, we're going to see more proxies that are going to start changing their colors when they realize that the people that are feeding them are no longer going to be around.
Is the command and control on Hezbollah really the IRGC?
No question. Hezbollah, I was just speaking on Israeli TV, and I was just bringing up this point. Hezbollah was funded, trained, and told what to do by the IRGC. As a matter of fact, we've been taking out IRGC commanders on Lebanese soil even now. They're not even a proxy. It's the wrong word. They are Iran. Israel's literally fighting Iran, just clothed in Hezbollah clothing on its northern border.
But is that different from when you've taken on Hezbollah in the past?
They've always been
I know financed by Iran, but I was just wondering if Hezbollah was independent to a degree on military decisions, because I had heard before this conflict started, when it was just thought to be about to start, that the IRGC just moved into town and said, let me take this over. You guys are a mess.
Look, there's no question that since December during the Biden administration in November, when President Biden, this goes back to November 2024, when President Biden told Israel to stop, when we were actually moving towards defeating Hezbollah and we stopped, the immediate reaction of Iran was to send tens of billions of dollars and one of their upper military classes to try to prop up those brigades, which really just got their butts kicked by Israel. But, it was always controlled by Iran. It's controlled by Iran now. And the difference is, with this president in the White House, we're not going to go halfway now. We Israelis, we're not going to live with Iran on our northern border. This president understands that. I think the American people understand what Iran is about. We're going to push this all the way so they cannot threaten the people on Israel's northern border.
So do you believe that if the fighting ends with Iran, you guys will decide when it ends with Hezbollah?
Yes. I think so. That's exactly what's going to happen. Iran is the absolute ones that are calling the shots. And there's a direct link that as Iran moves forward, that this is what's going to happen. We can see a one-to-one parallel. You brought up the idea of the Houthis. Just like the Houthis have responded to the regime going down, there's no question, as soon as Iran is knocked out of the equation, there is no one else in the world. There's no Syria. There's no Iran that can fund Hezbollah. It is literally cutting off the umbilical cord. And now let's not forget the fact that Syria is out of the picture. Israel's controlling that eastern side. And so all the supply routes to Hezbollah have been cut off. And so this is really an opportunity, Brian, to reshape the Middle East once and for all. And Iran is the key to this.
So, Doron, I hear Hamas is reasserting themselves in Gaza because Israel can only be in so many places with so many focuses at one time.
It's true. Israel, a lot of our troops have gone north. A lot of the rest of the troops, our Air Force is obviously tied up with Iran. At the same time, we do have troops that are on what's called the yellow line, and we're holding them at bay. At this point in time, Hamas has a reprieve to some degree. They're able to, within their own territory, they're not being resupplied, but they are able to, let's say, get a rest. But they know what we know. As soon as this ends, and President Trump has been very clear about this, Israel's been clear about this, if they do not disarm and completely give up their weapons and turn themselves in, they will be destroyed.
So I want to bring you to what are the political problems that the president's having. Democrats and Republicans always brawl, not usually on war in the beginning, but listen to Ro Khanna, who fancies himself a presidential candidate, cut 5.
This has been the biggest blunder in American foreign policy in the 21st century, and that's saying something. What have we achieved? Iran still has enriched uranium that's buried underneath. They've replaced Khamenei with Khamenei Jr. By the way, Khamenei, the older one, had a fatwa saying, I don't want to build nuclear weapons. The younger son doesn't have that fatwa. Right. We have gas shooting up to almost $7 where I am in California, but across the country, 30% up.
So you get the idea. We're up against the clock, but your response to that?
I've heard these voices before. They're the same voices that approached Churchill before World War II and said, let's just make peace deal with Hitler. We can't beat him. It's the same kind of delusional story. Iran has been a nuclear regime moving towards a bomb. This is the first time in history that you have an American president, you have an Israeli prime minister who are willing to stand up and fight evil. And the world will look back at this moment and say, we want to be like America and Israel. We want to stand up for Israel, too.
Doron Spielman, thanks so much. Stay safe. Former IDF spokesman coming to us from Israel. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Brian.
You got it. When we came.